Hello, I am back with another math video. The students have taken their mid-module assessment. Modules are the word that we use to refer to the units, and we are about halfway through our unit on place value. So I wanted to take a moment to update you on what's going on in the classroom and how to best support at home. As part of their homework this week, you're going to start seeing that students are adding a two-digit number and a single-digit number, or two-digit numbers. I wanted to introduce you to some of the strategies that we're using because you'll notice different things about both of these problems. In 13 plus 20, you will notice that the students will not be creating a new 10. There are several different ways that we've taught the students to do this, and it all depends on their comfort level. Some students are still in a pictorial stage where they're using pictures to represent what's happening. To do that, we're asking the students to draw one stick of 10 and 3 ones for the number 13. They would then add 20, so that would look like 2 sticks of 10. Students are most comfortable adding the sticks of 10 near the other ones, just focusing on the idea that 20 has 2 sticks of 10. Sometimes students are getting used to just adding a 10, so they're just putting one more stick. At this point, they would then count their drawing, 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33. Or another way we're encouraging students to think about this is to add the ones and the ones and the tens and the tens. This is for students who do not need to use the pictures because they understand what's happening when they're adding the tens and the ones. What we would ask the students to do here is to show exactly that. They would start by showing that they would add the tens from 30 and the tens from 20. The tens from 13. So they would do 10 plus 20 is the same as 30. Then they would show that they added the ones. 13 has 3 ones, 20 has none. 3 plus 0 is the same as 3. And then my final number sentence would be 30 plus 3 is the same as 33. Students can choose either way to do it. Sometimes students need pictures when the numbers are a little bit more complicated, such as in this one. So if they're toggling between doing pictures and doing number sentences, that's great. If you turn over to the 18 plus 9, we're encouraging students to do this several different ways. One way, of course, is to use their math drawings. When they have to create a new 10, we're asking them to start with the stick of 10 to represent the ones in a group of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's something that you've been seeing the students do for a long time. And the reason we've asked them to do that is because now that they can clearly see, they only need 2 more in order to create a new group of 10. You're starting to notice now that we're getting the students to start regrouping. The way I learned was to line up the numbers and to move the 1 over. What we're doing is we're teaching them the reason. Why are we eventually going to be throwing the 1 up on top? We're not vertically lining up our numbers yet. We will by the end of the year. But right now we're starting to develop the understanding that a 1 is going above the tens place because we're creating a new 10. To add the 9, instead of adding circles, we started asking the students to add X's. We're telling them to do an X to clearly define that these are coming from the 9. So right now, they've added 2 over here, and that completes the 10. So they've added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So at this point, I've done the 2 here, and then I've counted on because I've added the 9. I'm going to put a box around this because I've created a group of 10. So now the students can visually see I have 10, 20, and then I have 7 more. So I have 27. The other way that the students can do this is using number sentences. We've taught students 2 different strategies if they're comfortable using just number sentences. In the first strategy, I'm going to move the 18 plus 9 to the other side of my board to give myself some more room, is we've said, look, 18 is really close to a new 10, and they've identified that new 10 is 20. All they need is 2 more to get from 18 to 20. At this point, we told them you can take 2 out of the 9. This would create 20, and that would leave 7 still in the 9. So 18 plus 2 is the same as 20. 20 plus 7 is the same as 27. So as you can see, the students are doing essentially the same exact thing that they're doing in the pictures. They're just using their number sentences to show it instead. Here's the 2 that came from the 9. Here's the 7 that were left over. Some students are not as comfortable doing this, so what they're still doing is adding the 1s and the 1s and the 10s. So that would look like decomposing 18 into 10 and 8. Then they would add the 1s. They would say that 8 plus 9 is the same as 17. Then they still have that group of 10. 10 plus 17 is the same as 27. This method is a lot more efficient in the sense that they get to the 10 faster and can do 18 and 2 is 20 and just add the 1s, but this is definitely an acceptable way for students to solve that problem because it shows that they are adding the 1s and the 1s and are creating a new 10. Another thing that's coming up, sorry this video is a little long, is a new method of solving word problems called a There we go. Oh no, I'm so sorry. It got erased and I don't want to redo this whole video. It's called a tape diagram, and a tape diagram is a way of representing number problems using part into a whole. What you'll start seeing next week in the homework is students will be bringing home word problems in which they're asked to use a tape diagram. There are examples on the top right-hand side, and then I'll also do one of the homework questions as an example so you can see what it is. For the tape diagram, we'll be solving put-together word problems where students will be given 2 amounts and they're asked to find the whole, or they'll be given one part will be a mystery, and then they'll have to find a whole. So, for example, using a tape diagram to solve when you have 2 parts into a whole would sound something like this. Ben and Jen were playing with trucks. Ben had 6, Jen had 5. How many did they have all together? What the students would do is they would create 2 parts of their tape diagram. I believe I said 6 and 5 that look like this. They would put 6 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. I should make those X's so that this way everything is consistent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They would label Ben, who had the 6, Jen, who had the 5. They would clearly see the 2 parts, and then together the whole is 11. What you might notice is this looks like the number bond the students have been working with since kindergarten, where they have 2 parts and they create a whole. We're introducing them to this strategy. It's not an expectation that they will always use this strategy, but this is something that will pop up in the curriculum all the way through higher grade levels. To use a tape diagram to solve part when you're missing a part would look something like this. Miss Roche had 6 books. She got some more, and now she has 11. So what the students would do is they'd start with the part that they know. They know that I have 6 books, that I got some more, the mystery part, and altogether I have 11. So they would start like this. I had 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got some. Now I have this whole of 11. They start counting here in the 6, and then they count on. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 6, and then they count how many X's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 and 5 is the same as 11. So this week you got the homework where the students were adding the double-digit numbers or the double-digit and the single-digit numbers. Then next week you'll start seeing the tape diagram. We're going to be introducing using a tape diagram to solve word problems this week, actually tomorrow, and so you'll see it next week in the homework. Again, there will be an example at the top of the homework page, and then I will do one as an example. If you have any questions about the tape diagram, please feel free to reach out to your child's teacher. Thank you so much for watching this long video, and have a great night.